Hello and welcome back. This is my April plan with me. I have been losing control a little bit in my bullet journal, and March has just been crazy. I mean, for all the reasons everyone's talking about, it's been crazy. There's been a lot of stress. I haven't left my house in, today it's 16 days. By the time this is published, it'll probably be 17 or 18 days. I don't know if you guys can hear that. My neighbors are like sawing something. Hopefully it's not too bad because I have to get this recorded. But April's gonna be probably 100% work from home. But because of that and because of just the generalized stress in the world, I'm pretty behind on most of my goals. I have not really gotten done what I wanted to get done, and I'll go over specifics in my monthly recap video. But my plan for April is to pretty much just take it easy, create a clear plan, try not to put too much pressure on myself for forgetting to journal, and just see what I can do. And because I knew this was going to be kind of crazy, I brainstormed on a spare piece of paper things that I am looking forward to or things that are happening in April. And at some point I remembered the 12-week year, which is a book with a pretty simple kind of productivity framework in it, where you create some goals and you track progress on all your actions each week, and you kind of give yourself a score. But I didn't really want to commit to 12 weeks of that, so instead I'm doing a 4-week year, which is really just me taking pieces of that framework and using them on myself for 4 weeks instead of 12. And because this is kind of more overarching goal setting, I'm putting this in my yearly journal rather than my monthly journal. And then in my monthly journal, I'm going to put like a task list that's not really connected to goals, just things that should be done throughout the month. And then I'm going to put my habits and stuff in there as well. April is Camp NaNoWriMo, which is a Camp National Novel Writing Month. It's like a mini version of the big challenge that happens in November. I've historically been very bad at Camp NaNoWriMo. I just don't get the same kind of buzz from it, and I don't get quite as motivated. But this time might be different. Famous last words, huh? But I do have some pretty ambitious goals for camp this year, and I'm gonna see how I can do. My gut reaction is that it should be easier since I'm home all day, every day, but I think it's actually going to shake out to be much harder because I don't have that commute time that's kind of just idle, where I did a lot of my writing in November last year. But it also is going to be a second draft, so we're going into a lot of unknowns here. I'm not really sure how things are going to work. In setting up my goal spread for my little 4-week year experiment, the first thing I did was list out all my goals. So I'm going to talk about those now. Reading them back, I can see a lot of places where I bit off more than I can chew, but here they are. My first goal, which may be the craziest goal, is to do 70,000 words on my second draft of my Nano 2019 novel. I'm still not sure if it's going to be easier because of the second draft or if it's going to be harder. I also was supposed to start on it in March, but I just didn't. I didn't even get my outline, like, revising done. So really every part of this plan is just kind of lunacy, but we're going to push forward with it and see what happens. My second goal is to write 2 blog or Medium posts. I just published a post on Medium, and I'll get a link to that in the description if you want to read it. The post is all about time blocking, which I am really fond of, but I want to get more into the habit of writing kind of nonfiction things as well. So that's my plan for this month, is to do at least 2 of those. My third goal has a lot of different pieces. I want to prepare myself for the little kind of game jam I'm doing in May. And this is not really how game jams work. You're really supposed to start with nothing and like kind of see how far you can get in the tiny amount of time that there is. But this is a personal game jam. It's not gonna be like a competition or anything. So I'm making up my own rules and I'm preparing for it. And I split that into 4 different kind of sections. The first one is that I'm going to document the requirements of this game idea that I have, so I kind of know what I'm building ahead of time. Second part is a list of all the art assets I need. I'm not really a game artist. I'm kind of dipping my toes into a lot of those skills. So I want to have a list of what I'm going to need to create it ahead of time so I can know kind of how ready I am for it. Third part is I want to set up a Unity scene. Unity's the game engine I prefer to use with basic character movement. So I'll just have a character that can kind of run around in this world. Pretty basic setup I've done many times before. And then the fourth part is that I want about 10% of the art assets to be done before I start. So depending on what that list looks like, that could be a lot of work, it could be a little bit of work. I'm gonna do my best to trim things down so it really is like the bare minimum because I don't have very much time to work on this project, so I need to keep scope small. My fourth goal for April is to start my second cut. I initially was gonna do a cut, a bulk, and then another cut, but I think because of how things happened, I think being in isolation without all the free food, having a lot more control over my daily routine, I think it's going to be easier to do a cut now instead of later in the year. So I'm going to do that now, see if I can drop another few pounds, get closer to my goal weight, and then I'll do a bulk later. That's what I'm doing. I'm also doing less of a deficit than I did for my first one, so it's going to be a little bit easier, a little bit less extreme, and I'm just going to focus on taking it easy and making consistent progress towards my goals, and so it's going to be very laid back. And then my fifth and final goal is just to do my strength workouts 4 times a week like I have been. The isolation, social distancing stuff has been very good for my weightlifting because I have weights at home, and if I'm not going anywhere, if I'm not really doing anything taxing, like work is mentally taxing, but since I'm not biking for my commute, my body's totally fine. And so I really have nothing keeping me from doing my strength workouts when I say I'm gonna do them. So that's kind of nice. Now I wanted to make sure I was tracking the progress on each of these goals in like very small manageable chunks. So I put down each week, and then under each week I put which pieces of those goals I wanted to have done in that week. And this is really right out of the 12-week year where I'm making each action item quantifiable. I will know when it's done. I will know how often it needs to be done. So I can very easily score like how much of the goals that I said I would do did I get done in this week. And the objective is to get 85%. The author has an opinion that if you're getting 100% of your goals each week, they're not ambitious enough. I don't know if I agree with that completely, but I do think it is a way to tell when you could put more on your list. If you are consistently getting everything done every week and you want to do more, I think that is an indicator that you probably could. And I'm going to speed through a lot of this because it really was just writing out kind of the same things again and again and drawing a lot of little squares. And it actually did make my hand hurt a little bit, which doesn't usually happen to me when I do this like repetitive writing. But yeah, so take your time if you're doing something like this, if you want to have all of these different like progress markers, because it's kind of a pain literally to write all this out. And then at the end I just put 4 blocks where I will put in my scores for each week. I'll probably do a percentage score for each goal and then do like a total percentage on the side there. I'm not sure how I'll fill that in, but the idea is to make it clear and actionable so you can know what you missed out on or what you did really well at. So that's all ready to go for me to track all my progress in April. Now I just need to do my monthly spread, and I'm just doing one spread. It's going to be very, very simple. And the decorations, I was very inspired by everyone's favorite game right now, Animal Crossing, New Horizons, but I think, that the design of the game is pretty much the same in each one. What I did was I tried to draw two of my more favorite characters. It's hard for me to pick just one favorite because all the little animals are so cute, and I'm not very practiced at drawing these characters, but on the left page, I tried to draw Dom, who's a little sheep with pink horns, and I just put him in a little scarf. I think all the ones in the newest game wear little sweaters or little shirts. I don't think they just put them in the scarves anymore. Maybe they do, but he's just in a little scarf. And then on the right, another sheep named Eunice, I believe. Eunice, I don't know how to say names. She's a little like bluish purplish sheep, and I just love, like, she has these great big eyes. They didn't come across very clearly in my drawing because I'm just not very good at it, but I don't know, I think they look really cute. And I did a little bit of watercolor to paint these sheep, and then I tried to put some colored pencil over the top to get a little more detail. It was all very experimental. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I think they turned out pretty good, actually, given that I was so kind of floundering my way through this. And then for the actual stuff I'm going to put in this spread, I made these backgrounds with some watercolor where I did a little bit of a gradient from this like sunset pink color that transitions into yellow. And unfortunately, some of the ink from the other side of the page did bleed through a tiny bit. I don't know how noticeable it is on camera, but it is pretty noticeable in person. Once I write in my tasks, it kind of covers it, but that was a little disappointing. It's hard to know when that's going to happen because it does vary with different inks and with different like amounts of water and stuff. I must have been using too much water. Oh well, can't go back now. But the little gradients turned out really nice. And on the left side of the page, I just put a task list. This is really just for things I need to remember to do that aren't tied to a particular goal. So some things I ended up putting here are getting the yards, the front and backyard of my house, weeded. They're completely overrun with weeds. Do my May Plan With Me video sometime in April. I want to paint the walls in our house, so I want to start measuring and getting estimates for that. And then I'm thinking about doing some like video check-ins for Camp NaNoWriMo to help keep me a little bit more accountable. I'm not sure I'm drawn to like a daily vlog format, but I have been very bad at editing those videos, so I don't know. I'll see if I think I want to commit to that or not. So those are my tasks, and then on the right page I have habits and then a little word count tracker where I'm just going to fill in from the left each time I get 500 words up to, I'm tracking a maximum of 3,000 per day. I probably won't break that, at least not very often. And then at the end I realized my little sheep drawing overlaps a little. It's fine, I'm just gonna work around it. Something if you're copying the spread or recreating it or whatever, you might want to move the character out of the habit trackers a little bit. And for my actual habits this month, I'm thinking about health mostly and like kind of staying active and healthy in this time of isolation and like kind of staying inside. My first habit is to walk for 30 minutes every day. I can walk outside. So far we have stay home except for urgent things, but outside exercise is okay. I probably won't go outside. I'll probably pace around my house for 30 minutes, which is how I've been getting my Fitbit steps. It's weird and maybe a little bit sad, but usually I'll read a book or listen to a podcast or something, and the time goes by pretty quick and it's not a big deal. So walking for 30 minutes is habit one. Stretching in the morning and in the evening are my second and third habits. Just making sure to like maintain mobility is really important when I'm sitting all day. My fourth and fifth habits are calories met and protein met. So I want to make sure I'm getting at least 100 grams of protein every day so that I'm building muscle even in this cut. And then I actually put Animal Crossing on my habit list. I want to keep checking in on my island, catching those fish. There will be some new fish available in April. And then my last habit is clean/yard work. So I want to make sure I'm maintaining the house, keeping things tidy. So I just made a habit for that. So that's really it. This is probably going to be a shorter video than usual, a little bit less rambly. I think this thread is super cute. I like to add these like little drawings and stuff, but I just don't have a lot of confidence that they're gonna look good. And I think these turned out pretty good, so maybe I'll branch out a little bit more in the future and like try some more illustrative stuff. So that's gonna be my month of April. It's gonna be me chipping away at this 4-week year I'm doing, which is a little bit silly to say out loud, but I really like the 12-week year framework. I think the tools that it includes can be used in other formats, and so that's what I'm kind of trying out. I do have quite a bit that I am committing to here, so April's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one, and I'm hoping that challenge is gonna be a good thing, like a good motivating thing and not stress-inducing. But we'll see. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram if you want to see updates throughout the month, see how I'm doing with all these crazy goals. I also have a website with a blog and a couple of posts about bullet journaling and my kind of experiments that I'm doing, where I pick something to change about my life for some amount of time and then see how it goes. There should be a new post up soon about my fitness experiment I did, because I'm kind of wrapping that up. And I also should have a couple of more videos up soon. I have a bit of a backlog going as I put off editing for longer than I should have. So I have a little vlog of working from home for a week that I need to finish editing and post. And then I have my video of my experiment, my fitness experiment, that I have to post as well. And then I also have my March review, or my March retrospective video, that I'll need to film soon once March is actually over. And so that video is coming as well. So you got a lot of videos coming up. So don't forget to subscribe if you want to see all of those. Thanks again for watching. I'd love to hear about your plans for April. If you have some plans to participate in Camp NaNoWriMo, maybe we can join a cabin together. I don't know. I haven't really thought about cabins yet. I'm not even sure if they still do cabins. I'll have to log on and set up my project and see how they've changed things. So thanks again. I'll be back soon with another video, and I hope to see you there. Bye.